for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.
Hey Thrifties, welcome back to the Get Thrifty Podcast, brought to you by ARC Thrift Stores. ARC Thrift Stores is a nonprofit thrift store chain, and I am your host, Maggie Civic, and we are all about sharing everything that has to do with shopping secondhand. So if you're part of our unique thrift culture, please contact us. We would love to promote your business and your social channels and share your stories and advice with our listeners. As always, you can find us on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift. Ladies and gentlemen, so excited for this guest. Please welcome Brian from ThriftCon. Only a few months after losing his media career at the onset of the pandemic, Brian responded to an Instagram story posted by a local thrifting event he had attended before, both as a guest and a vintage vendor. Since joining ThriftCon full-time, he's managed to bring in over 5,000 individual vendors from around the world to the event that has helped funnel tens of millions of dollars into their small business accounts by way of ThriftCon. Currently, the team is on the road in the midst of a 10-city U.S. tour, which comes home to Denver on July 11th and 12th. So this will air far before that to give some notice to all of you. On today's episode, Brian shares insights into the explosive growth of vintage fashion, the future of thrifting, and how ThriftCon became one of the most influential events in the vintage community, if not the most influential. Brian, it's been 4 years. Thanks for joining us again.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We're so jazzed to have you and so excited that ThriftCon is coming back. I want to do the origin story again. We have tons of new listeners. We just went to YouTube this year. So if you're new to this community, you're just getting started in reselling, or you're just like a thrifter at heart, ThriftCon has become like the premier iconic event. Give us a little backstory, a little taste of how this all came about.
It's kind of like just every other market that's out there. We started before. We started in 2019. I wasn't even a part of it back then. It was three guys, Mars Conti, David Bywater, and Ken Mead. And Mars and David had a store out in 5 Points called Station. It was streetwear, vintage, things like that. So it was really just on that like upswing of vintage and hype streetwear too. The two kind of met hand in hand, and they just decided to throw a party in a parking lot one time, and there was about 40 vendors and 500 guests. It was just they saw that they needed to have more stuff for the people. They couldn't do it on their own in the store, and it was really just a community-based thing where people popped up, brought their things, sold to other vendors, sold to vintage lovers. And they kind of got this idea, we can bring this to LA, we can bring this to New York, we can go, there's all kinds of these little pockets growing. So they did it, shot their shot, and it took off from there. Of course, there was COVID, the COVID years that kind of put a little break, put the brakes on it a little bit, but they were able to persevere through that. And I came in right in the midst of that because I lost my job in media, and I was reselling just to kind of make ends meet, and they needed help, and I was there. So kind of worked out.
Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing.
Yeah.
And you guys are all still together, but now you're all in different parts of the country. What's the story? Everyone's dying to know why you left Denver. That's like the question.
So the team itself is still in Denver, like the core team. I left Denver for the reason that a lot of people are leaving Denver. We wanted a house.
Yeah.
So I've got kids, and me and my wife were looking around, and we just couldn't find anything in Denver. We were looking in our price range, and we saw houses that were half burnt down, and they were $500,000, and it was crazy. It was crazy. And then we jump on Zillow, and my brother-in-law's out here, and my wife's best friend is out here. So there was structure here. But we started jumping on Zillow, and we're looking at houses with pools, 4 bedrooms,
amazing
garages, and it just happened. It just happened that way. So we're able to work from home. Luckily, technology has kept us together, and we have meetings that we're able to do through Zoom and things like that. But also just by the nature of it, we do our work separately, and then we just meet at the event. So it works out because we have road crew coming in from Boston, Chicago, LA, all over the place too. So
it works out. And now you guys have 10 cities, right?
10 cities right now. Yep.
Tell us how it grew and how you pick the cities. People are always asking that. How do they decide where they're going to go?
Initially, we were just looking at our comment threads, and the first one that really shocked us was Atlanta. And we brought it to Atlanta because they weren't requiring masks, and they didn't care about getting people together during COVID. And we can laugh now, but back then it was a really big deal for events.
Yeah.
And having that freedom and ability to just say, all right, well, we can throw it there, and having the reception it did, then it was just like, oh, okay, well, now we know we can bring it to other places and really be successful and really grow it from there. You know, LA was before COVID and shutdowns, and that one was successful. So we started seeing little pockets around the US, and then really just trying different cities. You know, we were in Charlotte, Minneapolis, Portland, all those places worked for us, but didn't work exactly like we wanted them to. So we'll probably try to hit them, you know, down the road at some point, but not necessarily right now. But places like Houston, you know, we get 14,000 people there.
Amazing.
Atlanta crossed 12,000, I think, this year. It was pretty close to 12,000 in a day. So there are cities that we're not going to leave. We can't leave. We don't want to leave. But then other times, you know, we tried New Orleans this year, and we had 9,000 people there, 8,000 people there, and it was our first time there, and we had a really good reception. So when you see that happening, you know, you want to stay there, but we can't grow it to 20 cities just yet because there's only 5 of us. And if we did that, we probably would hate each other by the end of the year. But
yeah, it's a lot of work for you guys to put things on.
Yeah, 10's like our max right now. But
and do you attend every single one of them and you're there? Are you reselling? Wow.
No, not reselling. No, I'm just managing the event itself.
God.
But
I mean, it's just such an undertaking.
It is, yeah. And you know, traveling's nice, but you're traveling to a concrete box that looks the same in every city, in a hotel. So it's not, you don't really get to experience too much being where I am, but we get out a little bit.
Well, we're really excited. It was so funny. I was touring the Legacy, which is above that arena you guys are using, or the convention center, brand new at the Western Stock Show. Talk about the move, because you guys were originally at the Western Stock Show, the old location. I mean, this place is huge. How did it change the event for you to make this move to this new box?
You know, it's going to be the first time that Denver actually sees the event for what it is, because the old building, it was the OG building. We were sad to say goodbye to it, because that's where we grew, and the team over there was great and grew with us, and actually, you know, kept us even during COVID. They looked to us to throw an event to see if they actually could, you know, so we have pretty strong ties to the history there and the people there. 2 years ago, it snowed, and then it was leaking. And then last year it was 100 degrees out and there was no AC.
It's going to be 100 this year.
Yeah, exactly. So those factors to keep the guest experience up, you have to take those into consideration.
Yeah.
And having multiple rooms really took away from what we try to put on as an event. So having one big room, we'll have a new stage, we'll have performers, panelists, like an actual convention gets to happen, and Denver finally gets to see what we've been working on these past 6-7 years, because it was always just a little bit different in Denver because of the room and the space.
Yeah, and it kind of like smelled like horses and all that, which was
it was
part of the allure. But
when we have vendors coming and laying stuff on the ground, it's like, that's an expensive T-shirt that's on the ground, you know, in the back of a
horse stall.
Animal. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
This new place you guys are having it, though, like I said, we just toured it. We were looking at that room that overlooks the arena, and it is so wild how big it is. Such great like acoustics and really great, you know, the AC won't be an issue. It's just so gorgeous. How many people are you expecting?
As many as we can possibly fit in there are welcome. But last year we did 14,000. So we'll probably be right around that same area. And that's over 2 days. You know, Denver's so big that we do have to split it just for safety and comfort reasons. And it just makes more sense there. So it's about 7,000-8,000 a day that we're expecting.
Craziness. Yeah.
And the vendors are fully prepared. They bring all of their best stuff. They pack, you know, their SUVs and vans and moving trucks, and they bring plenty of stuff. We'll hear people saying like, oh, Sunday's not as good. That's where the deals are. That's where, you know, the true thrifters are going to find their good stuff for cheap.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever in a million years think that it was going to turn into this? I mean, where people are clamoring. I was saying before we started, my intern is like losing his mind. He's Riley from Legend Vintage. Like, he's done this many times, but he wasn't able to get a booth this year. He was losing it. I mean, you guys are selling out in seconds, you know?
Yeah, 50 seconds.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
How many seconds?
50. It's down from 90 last year. So now I don't know how they figured out how to cut 30 seconds off of it, but I'll watch the timestamps coming through personally. And I'm not sure if it's the autofill or the Apple Pay, but they're going faster this year than they ever have. So
Wow.
I wish we could have 400 vendors. It would be very easy for us to do
Mhm.
that. But that would at first it's not good for the vendors. You know, you're splitting everybody's paychecks or everybody's wallets a little bit too thin, but also it's just too much stuff. Like
Yeah.
it becomes like not fun for the guests and overwhelming. I mean, 130, 140 is still pretty overwhelming for people.
So it is 140 vendors total. Wow. Talk about your demographic. Talk about your customer. If somebody's new and going, which is almost impossible in our world that they haven't heard of ThriftCon, but if they haven't, what kind of people are shopping? What kind of vendors? Give us kind of a rundown of that.
I mean, it really depends. We try to do our best in every city to get vendors that relate to all kinds of different people, you know, and
Mhm.
it's one of those industries where it's like it's all ages, it's all colors, it's all races, it's all, price points and things like that. So last couple of years, we've tried to section things out, which is difficult because thrifting by nature is just random. You know, you
Yeah.
find
And
random
people bring
stuff.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
part. Yeah, that's the best part of it. But we do have, our creators corner section where we focus on designers and upcyclers and artists and things like that. The vault is your high-end t-shirts. You know, a lot of these t-shirts are going for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, which is pretty shocking
Nuts.
coming through the
Yeah.
door. And then we started this year our Y2K, a club Y2K, which is all just like, 20-year-old girls and older that are focusing on the 2000s fashion because that's huge for their demographic. And then we try to split it into menswear and women's wear, but I mean, it's pretty difficult to do that because they're bringing whatever they can and whatever they find, which is super random. But
It's
that's the
so
demographic that
fascinating.
we get to. It really, I mean, you could have 13 to 18-year-olds there shopping, but you could also have a group of ladies, having margaritas before they come, and then they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s looking for stuff. So we have all kinds. We can't really pinpoint it in the cities we go to.
Yeah.
It's random for us too.
You never know what you're going to get. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the beauty of ThriftCon. And it kind of changes over the 2 days too. I've noticed that like they restock their booths and, really try and keep them fresh for Sunday, which is fun. What about like mid-century modern? I see, by the way, your vases in the back, your Viking glass. Look at how gorgeous.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. I
Beautiful.
mean, that's what me and my wife love to
Mhm.
now we're trading in our new furniture for old furniture, as we like to say, because we bought, a lot of stuff when we were just coming up with our kids and with each other in our new home. But now we have the ability to kind of trade down to the stuff that's going to last and
So
be like
exciting.
pieces. So we're always on Facebook Marketplace and at antique stores and we're a little bit older than the rest of the ThriftCon crew, so we kind of enjoy the antique shops and the MCM a little bit more than the younger guys that are going for the t-shirts and things. But
It's
yeah,
just a reminder that there's every walk of life, every single
yeah,
age. Let's talk about, so you were in Dallas then, correct?
yep.
Okay. Can you give us any insight? People will want to know. Do you have a favorite thrift store? Any hidden gem that you need to shout out that's doing really well
Uh,
there for you?
in Dallas proper, I've tried to visit some of the vintage stores, and there's a lot around the college campuses. Stash VHS is one of my favorites. Dallas here has their SwapCon. Jason's been around for a very long time. He kind of does an event similar to ours.
Ooh,
But we're going to be here at the end of the year too, so it's not like a competitive thing. Like we partner up with the local markets a lot of the time, and they can feature their favorite vendors or sponsor the pit or do whatever they do too. Because we try not to muscle anybody out of a region or a city because that doesn't make any sense for us or the community. But they've got something really good and special going on. They'll put those on about every 2-3 months, I think.
and it's called
Yeah,
SwapCon. I need to look at this.
SwapCon. Yeah, and that's super similar to ours, the streetwear and hype, but also the vintage kids. There's, gosh, a lot of antiques places that we haven't explored yet, but we'll get them on our TikTok that we bookmarked. But yeah, we haven't done a whole lot of exploring, and right now it's in the hundreds, so that's not it's not
Yeah.
exploratory weather, but we'll get out there. Yeah.
So are we going to be able to talk you and your wife into coming down to San Antonio when we open? We'd love to have you as our guests for our ribbon cutting.
Yeah, 100%. Will my gift cards work down there?
A
Because I
hundred
got a gift
percent,
card.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'll
Okay.
have a special gift for you and your wife for sure when you come.
Yeah.
Like,
Good.
we
I
really
mean, we
want you
need
to
to
come
talk
check
to
it out.
Lloyd about getting one into Arlington because this place is,
Oh,
yeah, we just opened a Goodwill up here, or they opened a Goodwill right down the street. not good.
It's not doing it.
Not doing it for us. Yeah,
Uh,
we need better stuff down here. So
Challenge
yeah,
accepted. I just put a
yeah,
star next to it. I'll let Lloyd know. We are really going to expand in Texas. New Mexico is like crushing it. We were
yeah, yeah.
really surprised. Such a great market, so much thrift going on there. But we can't wait for San Antonio and Austin. We want to do Austin, but Arlington, adding
We
it to
did
the
San
list.
Antonio last year, and it was awesome down there. It was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Texas thrift, behemoth. People love
yep,
that place. Yeah.
yeah. We
And
got the red,
similar
white,
to
and
us.
blue. Yeah, red,
Mhm.
white, and blue is down here too. I think they call it Mile High Thrift, red, white, and blue there in
Yeah.
Denver.
Mhm.
But then yeah, Texas Thrift and Goodwill's kind of muscling around, but we need a proper arc.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
We're doing it. That's like our goal. Big box, big
yeah.
thrift. And I guess that's an interesting question too. Your vendors, are they, and we feel like they're still shopping us. They're still, yes, Facebook Marketplace is the online, but like, is there any worry for us as thrift stores? Are your vendors still shopping us?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the competition's there. There's a lot of people, and I don't even think that resellers necessarily have businesses, quote unquote, attached to their hustle. A lot of them are these micro businesses that it's just
So
their
cool.
sole proprietorship. They're on eBay flipping a couple things to make rent or,
Mhm.
go out to eat or do whatever. It's a struggle out there. And we
Mhm.
see these people that are coming to our events that do need a couple $100 for their phone bill or their kid to get school supplies or whatever. So just popping up. And that's why we try to keep it accessible to large brands.
Mhm.
We've got Tide building too, but then you can come in as just like a single mother, college kid, whatever, and make the money that you need. And I think they're absolutely still shopping at thrift stores. Estate sales are just overwhelmed, I think, these days. Although estate sales need to really worry about their pricing structure because they're getting a little weird with their eBay prices.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See on that. They'll print out the eBay listing that's not
Oh,
even, then they'll be like this, like the vase is behind me $400 or $500, and it's like it's
no.
not it. No. So
No.
I think thrift stores just need to keep their prices down, and people are still going to be like absolutely sourcing from there
Yeah.
because that's where people take their stuff. They
Mhm.
don't want to throw it away, but they don't want to take the time to sell it, so they just want to hand it down. That's
Yeah.
where you guys, yeah,
It's so far, it's been really great. You're absolutely right, though. We have to watch the pricing. I really love it when thrift stores print out the eBay thing. I'm like, okay, do that. Good. They'll
yeah,
come to me
yeah.
instead.
And it's not to say that you guys aren't getting those $500 t-shirts from time to time, but do you have the person to sell it to?
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But ThriftCon, we get overseas Japanese buyers, we'll get brick and mortars, we'll have celebrities,
Amazing.
and those are the people that can drop $500 on a t-shirt, not even
Yeah.
blink.
Yeah.
But thrift stores, I don't think have that have that there just yet.
I mean, what do you think this international, it's unbelievable. We even get some of them coming to our stores. If they're like, we're
Yeah,
excited for ThriftCon because they will shop our stores.
yeah.
What's the story there? Is it just now becoming popular? Have you seen this or has that been jumped up the last 4 years?
Feel like they've always been in that place, especially the some of the Asian countries. They
Mhm.
love legacy brands like Levi's and Carhartt, and they're going to look at the 90s band tees like Marilyn Manson and Sonic Youth and things like that. And
Mhm.
they love American culture, and they take it in just as much as we do. And it's worth a lot of money out there.
It is.
My
Yeah.
whole This t-shirt was made in 1991 and it's perfectly fine. We
Mhm.
buy stuff for our daughter from the mall, 2 washes, and it's toast, it's
Yeah.
gone. So of course I'm going to wear 100% cotton until I die. They'll probably bury me in a band shirt, it's going to be 60, 70 years old at that point. So it's like, and it's unfortunate too, because band merch, kids find these bands because the merch is out there. If Taylor Swift is like not getting a good t-shirt brand in 40 years, that's not going to be around. It's going to be at the bottom of somebody's garden because it turned back into dirt. It's unfortunate that a lot of corporations and artists have gone that route, but this stuff still lasts and it's going to continue to last. And that's why
Mhm.
people get it. And people overseas, same thing. They just know that a Carhartt jacket's probably going to be around for 200 years. That's
Yeah.
just, that's just the reality of how well they were made.
Are you guys getting any press around the fact that really what you're doing is part of the sustainability movement? Are you guys talking about that? People are for sure asking, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I think that's just the overall idea, and a lot of corporations that sell new clothes are kind of having to face a lot of their past decisions too. It's like, are we going to make crappy clothes and continue to charge high prices for something that's not going to last? Or should we go back to the drawing room? They see our events with 14,000 kids. They want those kids to buy their legacy brands. So they got to figure out why they're there, what they're doing, and how to keep them around for the next 30, 40 years. You know, we don't necessarily have to be a 100-year company, but Levi's does, Carhartt does, you know, they have to think about the future too. So they do come to us. You know, we do have a lot of meetings with these people, and they're wondering why it's working for us and not for them. And we just have to be very honest with them. It's you're making
crap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is why the t-shirt's still around 30, 40 years later. This is why they want these jeans. This is why they want, you know, things that last, because nobody wants to throw something in a washer or dryer and then have it be gone.
Yeah, you guys are really changing the whole perception. What about sponsors? How has that changed for you? Anybody, I mean, I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but like, have you seen a bigger interest in different sponsors, bigger sponsors, and have you had to turn anybody away?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Tide has been working with us for the last couple of years now, and it was one of those things that just clicked into place. Like, duh. You know, we sell pay by the pound clothing at our events, you know, bin style stuff, and people walk away with a big orange bag. Tide gives them laundry soap to go home and wash it with. It was just one of those things. It's like, duh. You can like be here sponsoring that and be a part of it for however long you want to be. And they like the fact that they're able to get their products into a teenager's hand or somebody's hand that may not deal with, like they did their Evo launch not too long ago. And we were one of the first people to kind of give free samples out to people. And they were able to hit the markets with new consumers. And that was like kind of a no-brainer there. But we've had Adidas in the past, and you know, Happy Thursday drinks are always a big one. Red Bull, Topo Chico. Those are always kind of just those easy plays. That's like, you have a lot of people, give your products out. But it is that weird place where they don't want to sell used stuff. They want to sell new stuff. So how does that work for their brand and their corporate interests too? Which I think just keeping their name in the conversation is probably the best thing for them. But they also do understand that people buy used for a reason, and you're not going to be able to compete with that. You got to kind of play the game too.
I'm thinking about like Tide and their like retro logo. I mean, that alone is like so memorable for people. It really is such a cool fit.
And they get surprised too, because Tide used to sponsor NASCAR cars back in the day, and that's just a really big thing. So what they put their money into 30, 40 years ago, I guess it was 30 years ago, they're now still reaping the benefits of brand recognition on the NASCAR car that they had their logo on, you know, so long ago. So it's fun to talk about that stuff with them, because they live in a different world. They're in a corporate world, but then when they come down to our level and they see what's actually happening and kind of bubbling up, it's always fun to kind of show them what's possible.
And I kind of love it that they appreciate something so outside the box, but yet so perfect for them. That's like the number one question we get from people. And one of our biggest complaints: you changed your laundry detergent. Girl, we've never washed anything ever. Like, it just makes me laugh. People, you know, that don't understand thrift think that we wash our items, which is hilarious. But what a great move.
I can even imagine the cost. Yeah. The cost of that.
Yeah, that would just totally wreck our carbon footprint.
You guys pay enough in dumping fees. I think the washing fees. Yeah.
Lloyd would not tell you. Yeah. I'm a little nervous when I was in San Antonio, the TVs, you know, we haven't sold or accepted TVs in Denver in, you know, multiple years because it's so expensive for us. We still get dumped, like, you know, that firsthand. But San Antonio is still selling them and accepting them. So I need to look into that.
Oh, interesting.
I know. What am I going to do with that stuff? It's going to cost us a fortune. So
you're going to get a lot.
Right?
Turn them into art. Yeah.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. If you're an artist, shout out any artist that's doing some upcycling that wants TVs, come take them off my hands. Yeah. There's going to be some challenges. And speaking of that, as you've grown, you've had to have some growing pains. Anything you can share with our listener that's been like, wow, eye-opening?
You know, it's all just been, it's good problems to have. You know, it's 1 year in Denver, we just realized there was way too many people in the building for it to even be fun. There just wasn't room to shop. It was hot. there wasn't a whole lot of room to move around. So we were like, okay, 2 days makes more sense, trying to spread it out and give people a good shopping experience while also having the vendors get paid has always been like a really interesting line to walk, because you don't want too many people, but you don't want too few vendors or too many vendors. There's mathematical formulas that I've been trying to work through in my own head to get that experience up. But whether or not it works is like, you don't know until the end of it. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Good problem to have. We've never had to bring more people into the fold where it was like nobody shows up. People always show up. It's just, how do you manage it when they're there? And none of us were into event management. None of us really had that background. So even things just hanging banners, how do we figure that out, or getting tables dropped? And it's just been like learning that over the years. We're really good at it now, but there were some years where it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
It's scary, and walking into a new city and you don't know what you got and you're not used to it. It's gotta be
and there's all different challenges too. As every city's different. We're working on our New York event, which last year was our first time in New York, and it was crazy, just the amount of permitting, and you got to build all kinds of different plans and have a lot more security in place. And it's just way different than, Atlanta, where you can kind of just slap stuff on the ground and then call it a day. So it's everything. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different technique and rules and people you call. So that was really challenging too, but we've gotten really good and gotten a lot of people around the US that we've worked with now for several years that we can kind of rely on. And they know us well enough that they can kind of work on it without us too, and then come to us and be like, okay, we got you. Don't worry about it.
It's taken care of. Thank God.
Yeah.
What about what's next? Is there cities that you're looking to get into, but not quite yet, or what's on the horizon?
What's next is, we're always thinking about getting bigger, right? Like, how do we make this thing bigger? So this year we've been putting in a lot of efforts on performances and panelists. So we've had, Manny Fresh from Big Timers and the Yin Yang Twins, and we'll have Travis McCoy and Dem Franchise Boys in Denver. And the whole idea behind this was like, these guys, these artists have had really big hits in the 2000s and 2011s, I guess I could say 2011s, 2010s. So, and you might not know,
right?
Yeah, vintage in their own right. And you might not know them when we say their names, but as soon as they start playing their hits, you're absolutely going to get taken back to 10, 20 years ago. And you're going to remember those songs. And people have a really, really good time when that happens. They'll stop dead in their tracks, have a good time for 20 minutes, and then go back to shopping. Panelists, we're trying to get it like fashion forward, not necessarily talking about vintage all the time or retro, but that intersection of yesterday's fashion and today's fashion, where it's going to go, how these fashion influencers are using us as a inspiration, or using the kids on the floor as an inspiration. And that's been challenging, just because we have 10 events. It's not like we're doing one or two of these. So finding people's schedules that are open and being able to get them on the floor in a reasonable amount of time has been challenging, but it's not something that we've failed at yet. Knocking on wood.
And the panelists, I mean, this is such an education for these young people that might be new to reselling or just, getting into it. Who's somebody that you've had, and what kind of feedback are you getting from attendees on these panelists?
In Atlanta, we had Lil Yachty, and he was surrounded by a lot of fashion, like local fashion influencers.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because we got a lot of media just from his name alone.
Sure.
A lot of headlines on the streetwear sites and the blogs and things like that. And then New Orleans, Miami, we had a lot of the old pro skateboarders. Like we had Crowley, Kareem Campbell, Don, we had Bam Margera, those guys that actually like command stage presence, clip an audience just off of who they are. And that one was really cool because it resonated with a whole different skate culture, and that got put on Thrasher blogs and skate blogs and things like that. And then New Orleans, it was back to like music production, and we had Lareezy, who's just this really young kid, but he was just on the freshman list on XXL for their upcoming artists. So we really have the opportunity to kind of hit every single angle that we want. And there's really no ceiling for who we can put up on the panel.
And we can make it specific to the city.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very specific to the city. But in doing so, it just kind of turns it from a market into an actual convention, which is what we've
Mhm.
always wanted to do.
Wow.
Um, we have some really cool things coming up for Denver. I can't see anything on that because we're still working through some confirmations.
Sure.
But it is, local based, and it's about the history of things in Denver. But then it's a global scale because of what they've done.
Mhm.
So same thing with New York. We're getting a lot of New York influencers to be on the stage, and a couple of performers that we're excited about.
That's really exciting. And 7/11, July 11th, July 12th are the
Mhm.
dates for the Denver ThriftCon. And again, this brand new building at the Western Stock, but like kind of to the left of the old building and a little bit easier to park. And I mean, huge amount of parking there. Should be no problem there. I went to a
Yeah.
NoFX concert there 2 summers ago, and it's just blown up even in the last 2 years. So you guys are gonna have no problem with people parking, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's all pay from a QR code once you park. So I mean, a couple of years ago, we had people literally taking cards, and it just backed up all on I-70, and we're like,
Literally. Yeah.
we cannot do that ever again. So they got the hint, and now it's just QR codes, and yeah, you just pay as you come in and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, how's the city been? I mean, they know you're coming. This is huge for Denver.
Yeah.
Are they helpful? They're managing traffic and all of that. I mean, new location, but I'm sure they've got
It's a new location, yeah, and I think we're going to be like the sixth or seventh main event that they've had at
yeah.
the Expo Center. So they're still pretty new in it too. So we're all learning together, but
Mhm.
they're a great team over there, and they put together people that know events, and it's like we know vintage, we might not necessarily know the event side of things. So they kind of hold our hand as we go down, and they're like, okay, no, you need to do this and do that, and
Yeah.
work together, and they've been
But
great.
brand new. Everything is brand
Brand
new,
new.
even from the
Yeah.
tables to the
We're kind of worried
flooring,
because we have some skateboarders coming with some obstacles, and they're very worried that we're going to leave the floor a
your
little trapped.
floors.
Yeah, we've done it before, so we know what we're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done
They
it before.
are really nervous. Even when we were talking about just doing like a big event, like a gala for 1,000 people, they were just like flooring, flooring. Because I guess they put the animals on there too sometimes. Like they
Yeah,
cover in that's crazy.
yeah, but it's an event place. It's gonna, yeah,
Wild.
yeah. You want as many people as possible to have a good time there. So
Yeah.
if you need to re-wax the floors when we leave, we'll be okay.
Make it happen. Make it
Yeah,
happen. It's worth it. And
yeah.
they need the exposure for Denver to show that this is available for rental. So
Yeah, I didn't even know the new building was a thing until we had our last year, and they just pointed out like, no, it's happening. So we were kind of in the dark about that too.
yeah, you guys are like some of the first. I know the tattoo guys were there a couple months ago, like maybe a month ago. So, I mean, this is just going to be wild. I'm so excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun event.
I do want to ask just like a couple questions about your social media because I think you guys do a cool job, especially adding TikTok to the mix. Talk about that and just from a marketing perspective, how it's helped you. I mean, you guys have such a cult following on your socials and it's just growing every single time you do an event.
Well, I don't even think this industry would exist without social
Mhm.
media. It's the thrift halls and the things like that. It's just prevalent on there,
Mhm.
and we wouldn't exist at all either because what we're doing is very image heavy. It's very community heavy. That's like all the things that build social media, build ThriftCon too. So we need to be on there. We like being on there. We like to tell the stories and showcase the vendors and profile guests on the floor and things like that. So we really enjoy doing that. But as an event, we have to be more than just a bulletin board too. Like we can put our flyers up there, but we also have to show the West Coast what's happening in the East Coast and vice
Mhm.
versa. And I think the more people get involved with ours, the more they see trends pop up. It might be different in LA than it is in New Orleans, but they're super similar. And I think social media is 100% the reason for that. No, that it's fashion's different in every region you go. The idea and the core of it's still the same.
And you really
Yeah,
are giving
we
voice
wouldn't
to,
exist without Instagram. That's
yeah,
that's just like
yeah.
full stop. Yeah.
And I love it that you're giving voice to some of these younger, like up and coming resellers that are doing something really niche and different, and you're finding them. Are you like on the boots on the ground going, oh, this is cool. We need to talk to this person and share it on our socials? How does that work?
It's yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've personally talked to probably 5,000 vendors over the last, 5 or 6 years. And it's anyone from, my favorite story was we had a 13-year-old girl in Houston hit us up, and she was making jewelry and selling vintage jewelry. And she needed to make money to go to a jujitsu competition. So I just put her on the floor. She made as much money as she needed to make, went to this jujitsu competition, and she was first in the nation in jujitsu. And every year we go back to Houston, I'll hit her up and just give her a booth, just because, you know, she had that grind at 13, and it was just so wild to me that she was the one actively emailing and trying to get money raised to go and do this thing. So you know, props to her. And she's always welcome on the floor, regardless of what she's doing. I think she's like 18, 19 years old now. So she's on her way to going to college, and probably needs the money to pay for whatever college exams going through. But also we're dealing with very large stores and brands that have 4, 5, 6 different brick and mortars, you know, who also want to be a part of it. And we try to keep it as accessible to everybody, because you do need that to thrive. We can't just go one way or the other with it.
Yeah. I mean,
But
as
yes,
we grow,
it's a lot of DMing. It's a lot of emails. And sometimes it's people that don't belong at ThriftCon, and you have to tell those people that they don't, they're not allowed.
Work for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It doesn't work for us. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of communicating.
It just really is fun though. And you're changing people's lives. That's got to feel kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when they come on and, you know, you get up 1 million or 2 million views on social media for somebody that might only have 3,000, 4,000 followers, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Or they're getting put in Forbes, and just the name in Forbes magazine along with ours, it motivates them to continue going. And hopefully we see some like really big names coming out of ThriftCon.
Yeah,
and
you're changing lives.
Yeah, once ThriftCon becomes vintage, they can talk about us.
Oh God, right around the corner. It blows my mind the things that are called vintage nowadays.
Yep.
Any advice for someone who's listening in Denver right now and about to buy their tickets to come to this event? Any suggestions for how to approach?
I think the biggest thing is when you walk into the room, it's overwhelming. You see a lot of stuff, and we've got a lot of really cool props in the building. There's a stage. It's just, you know, it's a lot to take in. But the second you start digging through and really getting into like the core of what ThriftCon is like the stuff that the vendors bring, just take your time with it. You know, we're there for 2 days. You can come back for a second day. You can just take we got a food court and places to sit down and chill. You can leave and come back, you know, if you want to go home and, I don't know, shower and then come back. Yeah, refuel. Yeah, go get cheaper food somewhere. I don't know. You can always come back, empty your bags and come back. But you gotta really work with the vendors too. You know, it's like if you find something and it's out of your price range, maybe do a bundle, talk them down. They're not stuck on their prices, and they shouldn't be as a reseller either, because they know how much they paid for it. And they know that getting rid of things is probably in their best interest. They don't want to go home with all the stuff that they came with. So they always want to work on pricing, and you just ask and even if you don't know, you know, your phone's right there. Just look it up and be like, oh, this is why it's that price. You know, don't get sticker shock because you're going to see t-shirts for $200. But then you jump online and you're like, okay, that's why it's that. It's rare, collectible. Yeah, it makes sense. So, you know, just kind of come with an open mind. There's price points all over the place. Dollar bins, you know, we've got pay by the pound. Yeah.
When did you add the pay by the pound? I don't remember that a couple years ago.
It was a couple of years ago. We used to have a vendor that came and did it, but they were unable to do it. So we kind of just took it upon ourselves to start it. And then right away, that's when Tide came in. So Tide's sponsoring it and kind of giving us a bit of leverage with it, and makes it look way cooler than we could have made it. You know, if you're coming into a Tide place with dirty clothes, just makes a lot of sense. And that was what was specifically because people were upset on $200 t-shirts, and we had to make that choice. Like, yeah, we need to, it's a ThriftCon. We also have things for people that are looking for lower price points, or just the experience of digging through and finding things. You know, that's always fun too.
It's become part of our culture. They like the dig, you know, it really is an important piece. Anybody, like any vendor this year that's special and new that we can't miss?
You know, that I could name all of them and it would take another hour. We could extend this podcast a little bit, but I'm really excited about our Creators Corner this year.
Okay.
Just have, you know, 7 of the best, I want to say 7, 10 of the best that I think are getting really creative with upcycling, with designing. You know, it's everything from screen printing on vintage blanks to actually cutting up quilts and turning those into bralettes and pants and things like that.
Cool.
So that section I'm always really excited about. We have Tyler Bidet, the Broncos running back. He's going to be there selling stuff from his closet.
Wow.
He's going to be a featured vendor. Yeah, yeah, that's fun too. We've done a couple of celebrity closets in the past, and that's something that we hope to increase more of. But they're just like us. They're collecting t-shirts, and then they look at their closet and they're like, I have too much. I need to sell some, and
Yeah.
a great place to get in front of the community for them too. So hopefully he's calling his Broncos friends, and you can see some of the Broncos
Yeah.
just they're shopping along too.
A lot of
Right.
those NFL players are really into their vintage and streetwear. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I sold a hat once and looked at the shipping label, and it was going to Travis Kelce,
That's
just right
amazing.
at Arrowhead Stadium. So it's like, okay.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's
I love
shocking
it.
who you're selling to. And they'll pop up too. When we're in Oklahoma, we have the Thunder come out. They didn't come out because they were in game 7 this last time, but 2 years ago they were out there, and they come just all the same, and they're shopping just as much as we are.
So exciting. And New York's around the corner. So you got
Yeah.
Denver in July, and New York is what month?
It's a quick turnaround. It's August 1st. So
Oh
it's
my
only
gosh.
a few weeks in between. Yeah. So
Okay.
it'll be a much different vibe just because it's New York. We've got a lot of, some of their brick and mortars coming out, a lot of the influencers that are in place.
And where is that located? Is that going to be in New
uh,
York City?
it's Brooklyn. Yeah. So it's at the
Okay.
Brooklyn Storehouse.
Oh my God, it's going to be
just an
huge.
it's just an old Navy Yard warehouse where they built the boats. And unfortunately, they're closing after this season. It was kind of a temporary thing anyways. But it's about 115,000 square feet, and we really pack them in there too.
Wow.
Because New York finding a building is
Impossible for that
90%
crowd.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were lucky to find this one. So we'll have to figure something else out next year, but we'll
Madison
definitely be
Square Garden.
there.
You'll be at
I
MSG.
know, yeah.
Ready to rock.
Exactly. Yeah. The problem is those places want to charge us union fees, and
Oh.
we can't do that with our vendors. That's impossible.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting, and I'm just so grateful for your time. I love it that you're still talking to a local podcast. Thank you for staying true to your
Of course.
grassroots.
Yeah.
And
Always.
I'm serious. We need to get you out to ARC in San Antonio. I will hit you up when we get a little closer. We're thinking September, so I don't know what you've got going in September, but we'll bug you about our
We've been wanting to go down there to get on the Riverwalk again, and one of my favorite restaurants is down there. I think it's the Curry Brothers.
Oh,
So
cool.
we need to go down there. Yeah, it's a fusion place that they've got
There's some
down there.
great food. I mean, I was shocked. The Riverwalk, I was like, who knew this was here? I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea. I kind of stumbled upon it.
Yeah,
when-
fun stuff though. And I'm hoping San Antonio is good for us. I think it will be. And come down, shop us. We're gonna have the same great deals. We'll feed it from Denver for a little while, but we feel like donations in Texas are going to be strong too. So fingers crossed.
I mean, Texas is kind of where vintage is right now. It's the proximity to Mexico. They got Port City. There's just so much of it down here. It kind of goes from that up what we've seen too.
Oof,
But-
that gives me hope. And please, dear God.
No, it's going to be really good. If not, we'll be regular shoppers
Very
until you
cool.
go to Arlington, Dallas.
I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'm letting Lloyd know. That's amazing. And we'll come see you 7-Eleven, 712 for sure. We'll come find you guys. We
Yeah.
always say that this podcast is devoted to spreading the good word and like normalizing shopping secondhand, but you guys are out there like living this dream and taking it to the next level. Hopefully we will be one of your big sponsors one day. Thanks. Lights just went back on. That would be my goal, is to, get Lloyd out there and be like, we need to be one of their big sponsors. We're growing, we're opening stores, New Mexico, Texas, and, hopefully, that's kind of one of my big goals before the end of my time at ARC. Hopefully it doesn't ever come to an end, but to be a main sponsor of ThriftCon. So you don't have any other big thrift sponsors yet, right?
We don't know. But
Fingers
if you guys
crossed.
are opening stores, maybe we can just work on opening stores together, and
Wouldn't that be nice?
we'll take over the dining malls and we'll put it all secondhand.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. There's no end to this. There's so much
Yeah,
opportunity,
There's
That's
so
what's
much
really
opportunity,
exciting.
and there's so much stuff still left
Yeah.
out there.
It's not going away. That stuff's never
Yeah.
going away. Well, I
No.
love it. I appreciate your time. One more thing before we let you go, we love to give a shout out to my favorite queen, Dolly Parton. We've never missed an episode. Thoughts, feelings, any amazing vintage Dolly shirts coming this year?
I imagine so. I can't really say for specifics. Texas is going to be where you find a lot of the old country stuff. So if
Yes.
you're here in San Antonio, you're 100% going to find Dolly stuff for sure. Yeah, I
coming.
just found a whole bunch of Rod Stewart stuff in Oklahoma
Ooh,
City, and our venue manager in New York is obsessed with Rod Stewart. So I sent her a gift package. You just don't know where you're going to find stuff. I mean, it's very regionally based.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, if we find some Dolly stuff, it's yours. We're
Oh,
gonna we're gonna earmark it.
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's like our favorite thing. Did you hear what happened to Rod Stewart? He had to like put his show on pause right now. He's supposed to be here
Yeah.
in Denver. Poor
Oh,
guy.
really?
Something's going on.
Oh, well, yeah.
The
It comes for
altitude.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all turn antique, vintage, and
Yeah.
then antique, right? Yeah.
Officially, absolutely. Well, Brian, you're a delight. Tell listeners once again how they find you, ThriftCon, all the things. How do we locate you on socials and even your personal socials if you'd like to? Up to you.
Social, I'm not big on social media. I'm always too busy with ThriftCon, so that's the best place to find me if you want to reach out about vendor stuff, about anything thrift related. You can go ahead and hit me up. But we're on Instagram at thrift_con and then online at thriftcon.co. So if you just think about
Easy.
Colorado, because we're Colorado based and bred, so thriftcon.co.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Colorado for life. 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
712. Come see us all there at ThriftCon, guys. And Brian, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Of course. Thanks for thinking of us.
And Thrifties, thanks so much for tuning in once again to the Get Thrifty podcast. Reminder, save our pod and leave us a 5-star review about how funny, creative, and smart we are. And if you're part of this unique thrift culture and you'd like to be on this podcast, we'd love to have you. You can find me on Instagram at Podcast with Maggie. And as always, follow ARC on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift, and now on TikTok at ARC Thrift Stores. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.
Hunt for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.